Hello everybody, AOG Gaming here, back with another video on Outer Plane. So yeah, it came to my attention that my mic wasn't working. It apparently wasn't pushed all the way in. It's a removable mic, because my headphones can also work as normal headphones. So yeah, it wasn't pushed all the way in. That's pretty much why y'all didn't hear my voice. So I do apologize, that was 100% my fault. I will be diligent in that. I was pretty sure it was in last time, but okay. Anyway, so this one will be the video on why this game failed is / failing right now, because there are some things to talk about. And then I will do a video on the 11 weeks progress right afterwards. I can't really replace my reverse 1999 video because it's part of story mode, and as far as I know you can't go back and rewatch the story mode basically. You can do the battles again, but you can't redo the story mode. So I think it's for ease of, because hard mode gives you some rewards that you can't get anywhere else, which, you know, they could have just added a PvP to the game, a PvP part, but oh well. Anyway, so there are a few things to talk about this game. I kind of ranted in my last video, which is why I said skip to 7 minutes. So this time, I'm going to be the unranter. I will not rant. But yeah, so anyway, let's start off with my biggest concern for this game. And I feel like this is the concern that everybody has, and that is progress. I don't know why gachas do this, but they seem to want to limit you with progress. The more you play, the longer you play their game. It's like the scummiest way they can get you to spend money, because you don't gain any progress. So what they do is they make you spend money. Like, there's literally no way to progress in this game except very small increments every day, unless you want to spend money. And yeah, just buy all the character ascension packs or whatever they're called. So yeah, it is pretty, you know, annoying and scummy that is the gacha gaming industry. It's funny because, again, this game made, the company that made this game, also made E7, and it's a great game. So I think a lot of people had expectations for them to learn from their mistakes, or at least learn that there's something that people want. But instead of that, they decided to go, oh, let's just market the shit out of this game and make it so pay to win, just like every other gacha. And it took away from the good aspects of it. The fact that it's very free to play friendly, the fact that collection wise it's actually pretty easy. You pretty much just have to wait for the banners for specific characters if you want to collect them. And then lastly, the fact that it was very good, like, mechanics and gameplay that has been copied with Black Clover M, that has been copied with Reverse 1999. I mean, you know, they've always had cards in... Actually, I don't know. I haven't seen a gacha game that has cards used that heavily. But this game came out way before those. It had the card mechanic. It had the whole chain point skill, which is like a team skill. And now we're basically seeing it everywhere. Reverse 1999 is a little different because they went the whole card route. So now it's just all about cards. So it's definitely a lot different. Which makes it a unique experience in itself. But again, there's a card system. This game already had a card system, so that Black Clover M has the team skills, or the whatever they're called, the perfect partner skills, whatever they're called. This has chain skills. It's pretty much the same thing, except this is a 4-team skill, and then that is just a 2-team skill. There's AP in this game. There's AP in that game. So yeah, it's just, they had a lot of good mechanics settled down, but they decided to try and be greedy with it, and I think that was the problem, right? Because what games that are becoming big now are games that have anime IPs and have companies behind them, right? That's why a lot of people were excited for this game. I will finish at 5 minutes because that technically doesn't count as a rant. It's just me informing y'all of how the game came to be and why it came to this state. So a lot of people had expectations. Hoyoverse I don't understand why their games are so big, even though they're just as shitty or worse. It's pretty much just all the people and their sheep-like demeanors, because all they do is see pretty visuals and they're like, oh, this game's amazing, wow. And I'm like, why don't people just make content on gameplay? Like, whatever happened to just the gameplay itself? Yeah, the visuals are cool and whatever. It's gonna happen as technology gets better. I don't understand why all these people care about it, but you know. If they're gonna be sheep, sheep are gonna be sheep. And we can already see, like, Genshin Impact was not one of the best games this year. I think it was Honkai Star Rail, actually, which was funny. Because I think it's better in terms of progress because it's much newer than Genshin Impact, so you can catch up a little bit easier. But it's still just as bad with the whole weapon banner stuff. But then again, at least those games give you the option for that. This game doesn't. You kind of just have to grind for that. So yeah, I feel like there's a big expectation, just like there is with all the Hoyoverse games that have come out, and Zenless Zone Zero that's going to come out, as well as Arknights, Enfield, like all these games that have been made by companies that have been known to make good games. There's a big expectation on their shoulders, and when they under-deliver and they make a predatory gacha, it ends up killing their game like instantly. And I think that was one of the biggest things with this game, right? Everyone saw E7 and they were like, oh, this game is going to be great, it's going to be the next big new gacha. And while it was for like the hottest second, it went away real fast because people realized progress has been diminished significantly. And like I said, if they don't change anything within like the next month, like if it's not changed by the end of January next year, this game is gonna just be dead, 100%. It's already dying and it's pretty much dead, but it's not completely dead. There's still some people to sign in. But yeah, if they make the same mistake as E7, where they like have a shitty 2 years, people aren't gonna play this game because, again, you got a lot of, well, I guess they're RPG games, so they're a little bit different. But they're still gacha games, and they're made by good companies. So when we see companies do this, it just deters everybody from the game. And I think that was one of the biggest reasons why this game failed, is that Smilegate thought that they could still use predatory gacha without making the game, you know, balanced well and good, and just have some good mechanics and some good characters, and then like this small free-to-play thing, and that would make a great game. Like I said before, gameplay makes most gachas, unless they're over the top done with visuals, and then you get things like Genshin Impact, which just people love because, again, pretty visuals and people being sheep. Like, honestly, if anybody plays that game now and calls it good, they're smoking crack or something. Only the people who have been playing since the beginning can call it a good game, because they basically have most of the stuff in the game that they need. If you start the game now, no ifs, buts, or whats about it, these are just straight facts and logic, you're going to have a horrible time. Yeah, you can enjoy it as much as you want, but you're always going to be at the bottom of the ladder. You're never going to be anywhere near the top, no matter how long you play, no matter how many hours you put into it, unless you're just playing that game and doing that 24/7. Literally. Like, I've seen all these other YouTubers, like, I tried Genshin for the first time, and it killed me. And I'm like, well, what did you expect? It's an over-glorified game. 100%. Most people who spend money on the game are sheep, simps, or whales. Those are the three people who spend money on that game. And it's fine for free-to-play. Like, it's not the worst gacha game out there. And honestly, it gives you much more to do than this game. So, perks to you, Genshin Impact, on that. Just because but it's also a different type of game, right? You can have open world stuff. So it's just that, right? That game gives you a lot more to do. I don't know why I'm talking so much about Genshin, but I just am. It's just because I feel like Genshin is dying. With the last update, they released 2 new waifus, and people aren't spending as much money as they did before because they're not Archons, or I think one of them might. No. Actually, I don't even know at this point, because again, I don't even play the game, so not since I started at the beginning. It was like, yep, predatory gacha game, not gonna play. And it's also, it just takes forever to do stuff in that game, but at least you're still playing the game. This game, it just doesn't let you. So that's the progress part, right? So we get into specifics now. So, well, first and foremost, you know, I called the weapon banner that
You called for me?
sucks in both Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact and Honkai Impact, whatever. All the Hoyoverse games suck with their weapon banners. It's probably the shittiest thing they could have done. It's why Black Clover M has that as well. They're pretty much just doing a predatory gacha as well. Everyone is overhyping that game. It's going to be dead in a few years, unless they balance it out. But I don't know. It's pretty much just a pay-to-win game again. So this, right? The fact that it just takes forever to get their specific weapons. And yeah, there are ways to grind for this, but even then, it takes a long time. So yeah, and it's just like the fact that these weapons are actually exclusive equipment are actually really good. Like, they basically add a whole nother thing, or they make the character better. They add a whole nother thing to their kit, or it makes them better. The fact that they locked us behind, well, you could actually pay money to get all of these presents, I'm pretty sure. And they also locked it behind story mode. They locked it behind, like, they basically made it impossible to get. So it's like, what did you expect? People were obviously upset with that, and they haven't fixed it since, you know, the beginning, which is like, go figure. So yeah, that's one of the big things. There's also, I guess, the challenge tab itself. The fact that they only give you 3 things to do this, and yeah, there's higher stages, but the stages really just are pay to win, because you can just max out characters by paying, and then you don't have to worry about scaling, because that's really all the problem with these, is you need scaling in terms of characters, and you also need specific element types for the upgrade stone retrieval. You need at least 2 characters. You could probably go with 1 of the strong element, but it definitely detriments you if you don't have it goes slower. But you can definitely get to stage 10 with just 1 character of the stronger type for each of the stone retrievals. But yeah, it's just the fact that even for stage 10, it doesn't give you enough materials for you to feasibly keep playing the game. Like, it takes you 4 days in order to get enough stones to upgrade a level 100 hero to level 5. Like, that is ridiculous. Because the upgrade thing doesn't even matter that much, right? It's mostly the fusions that do. The upgrade thing, actually, it does matter. But it's just, it goes slow, so slow. And it's not really this that matters as much. It's more the bandit chase and the gold, because you run out of those things real fast. The food just goes real quickly. The gold goes real quickly. But yeah, I feel like they need to increase the amount of resources you get, at least double, if they want for these to be actually feasible. Because they're supposed to be dailies, but they really just feel like you're doing achievements. It really just feels like you're doing achievements, and you just get a little bit more. Next we have the bosses. Overdone, overpowered, element gated. I've talked about it a lot in like all of my videos basically, but it sucks. It's pretty much like the worst thing in the game in terms of pushing content. Story mode is not much different, but at least in story mode, well, even then you need specific characters. But I mean, I was able to push pretty far. I'll show you my progress in my next video. But yeah, story mode is just as bad. There are specific enemies that are so much easier to clear with specific characters, and there's like 1 or 2 characters that fit that like slot that helps you clear bosses really easily. And it just really ruined gameplay for a lot of people, because they were seeing all these people clear everything, and they're like, oh, well, they just paid to get that character, then what's the point? What's the point of playing the game, right? If... Sorry, I almost sneezed. Oh, So yeah, it was just pretty much everyone seeing, you know, all the whales clear everything super easily because they had specific characters. Archdemon Ruins is kind of bugged. I don't know if y'all saw my last video. I'll probably do it again in the next video just to see if it's still bugged. But yeah, I was trying to do the Deeps 8, Stage 8 to show y'all how to do that one because it's a little bit more difficult than the previous ones. But yeah, it's completely bugged, so you can't even do it. The water towers and all this new towers that they released, 100% pay to win. Even with this weak thing, like they add, like, oh, we're gonna decrease the speed when they are debuffed. Basically, that's what it means. So reduce the speed by 30%. Doesn't matter, not fucking really, because what do? Oh, they give the bosses 1,000 goddamn speed, well 162, which is still really high, and make the bosses increase speed every turn. Not only did they do that, but they also inflict stun on your entire team for 2 turns. And it basically does not matter if you have enough resilience. Like, your entire team will get stunned no matter what. So what happens is the boss basically just does their attack over and over again, this Guardian Cutter, because they get it twice. And you're screwed. You can't really do anything. So yeah, it sucks. And it's also not just that, it's also the fact that you need all of one type of character. So it's pretty much impossible to do this battle unless you have higher stats and higher stars on your heroes. So that sucks. It's literally the only battle I've had problem with in this fire tower. And even when there was a debuff, I did it. It didn't matter, the boss is still way too fast. So they need to basically they need to go one route with the bosses, right? They give them a lot of speed, a lot of attack, a lot of health, ridiculous abilities, and stupid immunities. Like, you're doing way too much with the bosses, Smilegate, to the point where it's not feasible at all. So yeah, these are pay to win. The Skyward Tower is pay to win as well. It's a little less pay to win, but it's still pay to win. And yeah, that's pretty much it for like the challenge tab. It's like where most of your progress is limited, and it just sucks, right? I guess the other thing we can talk about is gear. They pretty much tell you that you're supposed to get like, if you go to this battle and then you go enter, it tell you this is the expected reward. This is a legendary item. The amount of times you will get legendary gear is literally less than 1%. I have grinded this and I've gotten 2, I think maybe 3 legendary pieces out of this entire goddamn time that I've been grinding this single boss. Why? Because the chances are actually really bad. It's not random. You get uncommon more often than you get epic. Because if it was random, you would get a decent amount of legendary pieces. You don't whatsoever. The last time I got a legendary piece again for my healers, I have 2 health legendary pieces. And I think one of them I actually built myself. So I had to use resources because this doesn't give you legendary pieces. It says it does, but it doesn't actually. And it says random, but it's not random. It's actually like 1% for the legendary pieces and then like 90% for the rest of them, basically. Like 9% for epics. Like, it's really just, they're just shitting on you. They're laughing in your face. That's what the developers are doing. So yeah, I don't know what they expected when they were gonna make this as horrible, and like, even if you push all the way to the deeper stages, it doesn't matter. Like, you just get shit. And it's the same thing for all the bosses. Like, there's different mechanics as well that you have to beat them, so you need specific characters. You want to have the stronger element, because if you don't, you're pretty much just gonna get killed, or you're not gonna be able to clear the stage. And again, it's like the new boss just turned everyone off. Like, the fact that they made this boss kill you as soon as the enrage ends is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. If that doesn't scream pay to win, I don't know what else does. Because you basically need all light, super strong, and best equipment ever. Max skills, everything. Otherwise, you're gonna die. And you also have to play it, you know, pretty well, because if you end up putting the boss below 50% health and you don't have enough damage to kill them, you're done, because guess what? They're gonna kill your entire team. It's like whoever was like the person who wanted to do that is a dumbass. Whatever Smilegate did to do that, they're stupid. Also, I didn't even realize this, but they added a new boss. Actually, let's see what dumbass shenanigans they're gonna do with this boss. Deals heavy damage to all enemies. So basically it's the same thing. They're just doing AoE wipe. Oh my goodness, that's just the stupidest shit I've ever heard. And it doesn't even matter if you have... Okay, but this one's 30% health or lower. That's a lot more reasonable. The other one is 50%. Like, that is stupid. Oh, you get silence on all targets for three turns? Okay, yeah, that's just... Yeah, pretty much what I expected. So yeah, the bosses are overdone, and it just makes it impossible to get any of the gear or push content. So, progress is my main problem with this game, right? The gacha has gotten worse. It wasn't bad before, so I can't really say that's why this game died, but it's why this game is dying now. They gave us basically the option to not get pity. They gave us no pity. In fact, it is so hard to get pity now that it's not even feasible. Like, they should put this down to 100 if they're gonna keep these tickets, or they should just get rid of the tickets. Honestly, I would just get rid of the tickets and apologize to everybody by giving them the actual tickets that give you pity, because it is so disgustingly predatory to get these tickets, the ones that actually give you pity, that is basically pay to win to get pity at this point. Like, the amount of times I get pity is only through Ether now, and Ether is also really hard to come by. So yeah, that's why the game is dying now as well. It was fine before, but you know, it's still dying. And yeah, the gacha was probably the only good thing about the game, because you could just collect the character and max them out. You can still do that, but it is still harder. I know they're gonna try and justify these tickets by saying, oh, but you get more some. No, it doesn't fucking matter, because it's still the same chances. So it's still shitty. It's still really hard to get the 3 stars. Yeah, and then now with these new tickets, it pretty much just ruins any chances to gain pity. Like, I would have had pity by now. I would have had 120 pity if all of the tickets they gave us for the half anniversary were normal tickets. But they decided to do this, which is the most predatory thing they could have done. That is disgusting. And they added it to everything, right? They added it to story mode, they added it to the Skyward Towers, they added it to challenges, they added it to all the towers, they added it to achievements. So basically, you get no pity unless you buy Ether, or you save up the insignificant amount of Ether you get in order to get new characters. So as you can see, even up to floor 90, they don't give you actual tickets. And it is just sad that they did that. That just screams to me that this game is not going to last more than like a couple more months, unless they do something drastic. So yeah, they completely need to take those tickets away and then give everybody the 105 tickets that they shafted us on. I think it was like 30 normal tickets, and then it's like 80 or something like that. It was like at least 50 of the premium tickets, so that you can summon on the banners, so that we can get the pity that we deserved from the very beginning, because that's really the only thing that was keeping the game alive. Yeah. Side story also sucks now. Like, once you get far enough, the 15 shards you get daily does nothing for your account. It is pretty much like you gotta wait until you have enough shards to ascend the hero. Transcend, whatever it's called. So yeah, the best thing about the game, it doesn't even matter anymore, because the progress is really slow, and pushing content is pretty much impossible. So you have to get specific characters, and then you can push content. So yeah, the side story pretty much becomes just another daily thing, instead of a thing that was supposed to make the game more free-to-play friendly. Yeah, and I think progress is pretty much the main thing that killed this game. I mean, the gameplay is fine. Yeah, there are some characters that are more overpowered than other ones, but you could just get them from the gacha before. Not anymore, but you could. There was also the fact that you can just... I mean, yeah, it's just the fact that it's basically side story doesn't matter anymore. Like, yeah, it does on some level, but it only matters to get from 3-star to 4-star. Like, going from 4-star to 5-star is so painful, it takes you about a month. Like, that is so atrocious, it's not even worth it. And going from 5-star to 6-star, don't even talk about that. If you're grinding these to go from 5-star to 6-star, you are dumb, desperate, or have a lot of copium. Because that literally takes... what? What is it? Times 2 would be third. It takes you almost a little bit more than a month, basically. So yeah, it's just the fact that I think it's about a month. But yeah, I think from actually 4-star to 5-star, it's less than a month. I think it's about 20 days, but it's basically 10 days less. It's like there's not a big difference. So yeah, it's just the fact that that takes forever. They should double these, like I said, so you can do your entire team 4 characters at a time instead of just 2, because it makes it really hard, and it basically makes you choose specific heroes to upgrade, and then it puts everything on the back burner. I already talked about element gated stuff. Pretty much they element gated everything, so on the challenge tab pretty much. So you need a full team, or at least, well, specifically for the bosses, and especially for the towers, because you can't even do them without a full team of 1 element. Side story, oh sorry, not side story, adventure, the normal story. Again, the bosses are overdone. They pretty much just make it impossible to do anything. And yeah, have fun with that. That's pretty much all I'm saying, because it'll be pretty much impossible to do stuff. I guess rewards, they don't give you enough rewards to do stuff. Like, yeah, they just don't give you enough rewards to do stuff. It takes forever to push content at this point. Instead of scaling like exponentially, they made your progress face a wall that is exponential. So basically, the more you progress, the less you get for your time. And then it just becomes eventually a waste of time, because you're pretty much waiting a month of doing the same thing in order to get to that point. And it's like 30 minutes of playing in this game. So it's not a small amount of time that you're playing. It's a decent amount of time you're playing. And that's like if you're just doing dailies and then like maybe pushing a little content here and there. If you're actually pushing for stuff, you're taking at least an hour, because some of the content is really hard. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers all my bases. Otherwise, they need to add more heroes that do other stuff, like Tamara, or like Eternal, or like all these other characters, because pretty much those are the only characters that you can use for what they do, because that's the only characters they've released for that. Yeah, that's another thing. They don't have enough typings of... They don't even have a dark healer, so they haven't even flushed out all the healers. They don't have a light 3-star healer. Like, they have 2. They're missing a lot of typings for heroes. I think Rangers are pretty much the best right now. Defenders, they flushed it out a little bit, but they have like 3 light defenders at this point, I think, or 2. No, 2 of them. But they have 3 fire defenders, but they don't have a 3-star fire. Oh, Christina is a defender. I thought she was a ranger. Okay, no, so they do have that. They have 4 fire defenders, and they got 2 water, 2 earth, 1 dark, and 2 light. So they need to fix that as well. That's like I know they're trying to do that now, but instead of actually fixing it, they just release heroes that you have to pay to get, because again, the gacha sucks. Again, getting legendary gear is pretty much impossible, so yeah, pretty much the main problem with this game is progress. Progress in this game slows down a lot, and it pretty much makes you not happy with the amount of time you spend on the game, with how much you get out of it. So yeah, I think that's it, really. Like, the biggest problems are the progress, which is stopped by the element gated content, overdone bosses, not being able to get legendary gear even though they tell you that it's what you expect to get, and specific heroes you need that they don't have multiple different heroes that do the same thing because they want you to buy to get that hero. So yeah, the game is dying. It's probably going to be dead in a couple of months if they don't fix anything. And yeah, why this game is going to die / why this game died. Anyway, thank y'all for watching. As always, AOG Gaming here. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe. Really shows your support. Helps me out, keeps you updated my content. 175 subscribers this time I checked, so y'all are amazing. Keep going. Yeah, I like I said, I try to be a realist, so I will release these videos when I think that it's time for me to release these videos, and also so that to inform y'all. Of course, when I start a new game, I give my consensus at the beginning, so y'all know what I'm thinking about the game, and then we go from there on out. But yeah, really sad, Smilegate. Actually, it's just pathetic at this point that companies are like pay to winning all these games. Honestly, I think it's because of inflation. And it's like, that's probably the worst thing you can do, because that just pushes players completely away from your games. But yeah, anyway, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video.